you made a comparison with you and Nas, man. Everybody was talking about it. Now, why out of everybody you pick Nas, bro?
I didn't do it.
They asked him.
No,
they asked him a question.
The new song?
No.
You don't like Ace Trumpets?
Oh, what's so great about it?
It's so good.
Not in my top 50. You might be in Charlemagne's top 50 and things like that,
Pusha top
but
50.
you haven't done that much for me in my life. Like, I didn't never want to be like Pusha. I never had a Pusha moment.
Jim Jones picked the wrong names to mess with two legendary figures in hip-hop, and he disrespected them both, back to back, like he had nothing left to lose. Now his music career is hanging by a thread. That's all it took to turn the culture against him. He said Nas was never really impactful. He called Pusha T overrated. He even claimed he made Nas go viral again. And for many, that was the moment he crossed a line he couldn't come back from. Because what followed didn't feel like your average rap beef, it felt like something much bigger was already in motion. Now, the real question is, was this just another case of rap ego spiraling out of control? Or is Jim Jones being slowly phased out by the same culture he once helped shape? That quote is still spreading. His summer jam set got cut short. And Pusha T? He's not finished yet. Let's rewind and break down exactly what triggered this slow-motion takedown of Jim Jones.
My son can't tell you one Nas record. You heard? Like, let's keep it a...
That sentence was the quote that sent Jim into a free fall. It wasn't just shade, it was a full-on erasure. Jim wasn't offering a critique of Nas's latest work. He was dismissing the entire legacy of one of hip-hop's most respected and genre-defining legends.
I admired Nas, but remember Nas' first record, The Barbecue, came out when I was in 11th grade. So Nas was my idol when I was young. Like you did, came to dressing, the wordplay, the music, everything. I was a superior Nas fan, period. I'd never take that away from him, but then as I got in the game, you got to realize that your rivals would be idols, and not to take anything away from that. I developed my own style and my own lane that these kids start to gravitate towards the same way I gravitated towards Nas when I was younger and things like that. It's a whole different generation.
This wasn't just any platform. Jim dropped the bombshell on the Joe and Jada podcast, a show usually known for light banter, not bold career takedowns. But instead of walking it back, Jim doubled down, saying it loud and proud.
Came into light and started going crazy that these kids love me. They don't really know who Nas is. If he's 22, he's born in 03.
Not all of them, some of them though.
You know what I mean? Like,
he basically said Nas never meant much to the culture, like his own Billboard stats could rival or even surpass Nas. Let's be real. Nas isn't just a rapper. He's a pillar of hip-hop. Illmatic is literally studied in college courses. Ether still gives seasoned rappers nightmares. And King's Disease? Proof he's not finished, he's evolving. Meanwhile, Jim's out here talking like he just dropped the Chronic. But here's the thing, this wasn't even about rap. It was ego, plain and simple. Insecurity dressed up as opinion. And dragging his own kid into it? Come on. What kind of example is that? The internet didn't hold back. People were instantly posting side-by-side comparisons, every Nas award, every sold-out show, every classic album laid out like a resume.
Hey, Jimmy boy, you should have never brought this up. Y'all are only 3 years apart, and Nas is just like murdering you. You asked us to look up the stats, and here they are. Like Jim Jones, like you got a couple songs. I mean, like literally it's a couple. But we're talking about Nas. Let me show y'all Nas's last projects. Nas been getting it in since 2018. Jimmy, when the last time you put out an album? Oh, would you look at that? You have been dropping music. You've really been dropping music. But nobody's heard it. Nobody's listening.
Meanwhile, Jim's chart stats are what they are. But this whole mess started because he tried to rewrite history with a hot take that literally no one asked for. Most people, after getting roasted online for disrespecting a legend, would backpedal a bit or at least dial it down. But not Jim. Instead, he went on Nightcap, looked Shannon Sharp dead in the eye, and tripled down. He claimed Nas never had the kind of influence people believe he did.
I'm way more influential than Nas, and I don't care what nobody say. I know I made a little boo-boo when you talk about the sales and all this type of shit. I don't feel like getting into that rhetoric about where I started and where he started.
You said that
but listen, Nas was nice when I was in high school. When I was in 10th grade, Nas came out.
Nas was dope. We appreciated him. He had a little bit of run.
Claimed Nas was never number one, always playing second fiddle.
But Nas always came up second to Jay and DMX and all these other people. Like, he
Ain't
never
no
had
shame in that.
He
A lot
never
of
had,
folks
he
came up
never had
second to
that
Tom
type of,
Brady.
he never had that type of influence on us, except for his first.
But let's pause for a second to who? Jay-Z and DMX. These three were in completely different lanes. Nas was spiritual, poetic, and reflective. Jay-Z embodied the corporate hustle. DMX was raw chaos and pain. Comparing them is like comparing Kendrick to Future, different styles, different missions. So to say Nas never led the pack? That's not just an opinion, that's straight up revisionist history. And here's the kicker. Jim doesn't even deny being a fan. He admits that as a teenager, he wanted to dress like Nas.
He told you, I used to want to dress like Nas because he had a lot of fresh clothes that the hustlers used to wear and shit, and we used to see him on TV. He had one of the illest albums of all time. And then in high school when he had the barbecue and shit like that. So I'm a real fan of Nas, but he kind of lost me after the movie Belly.
This man is using a film from 1998 as the reason to discredit a 30-year music career. That's where the delusion starts, because now it's not about stats, and it's not even about opinions anymore. Jim sounds like someone who wants Nas to be beneath him, and he's frustrated that the numbers don't support that. This wasn't about facts, it was about positioning. Jim was trying to place himself in the same league as the greats. But instead, he exposed just how insecure he is about never being mentioned alongside them. And if you thought Jim was going to back off, think again. On Bag Fuel, he dropped one of the wildest takes of this entire saga. He didn't just claim Nas wasn't relevant. He didn't just say Nas was second tier. Jim went even further. He claimed he was the one who brought Nas back into the viral spotlight.
I did for Nas probably never been done for him in his life. He's never been that viral at all, ever. Ever. He's never been talked about like this ever in his life.
Has Nas reached out to you?
You did. The last time he was in some shit like this where people were comparing was when him and Jay was
I knew you
beating
were
on
gonna say
him.
that.
You heard? You did? Like, and I don't want to talk about other people's career, but let's just get to the
Have you spoken
semantics
to
of
Nas
it.
since the whole
Nas.
Okay.
Huh? I don't know Nas to have a conversation with him. You don't have a conversation, we can have that too and shit like that. You dig? Like, I don't.
Jim acted like the entire culture owed him a thank you just for reminding us Nas existed. The reactions were immediate. One fan commented, "The only reason you're being talked about is because you're making dumb comments about Nas. That's why people are interviewing you for clicks." Jim still hasn't made any real impact. Another wrote, "The amount of delusional disrespect from Jim Jones towards Nas is getting out of hand. I'm sick of it. You don't earn stripes for saying stuff like this." And the math still didn't add up. Nas has stayed consistent 3 albums in 5 years, a Grammy, and multiple sold-out shows. While Jim's been podcasting, Nas has been working. Jim really thought he was setting a trend. What he actually did was kick off his own downfall. Let's rewind to 2024. The Louis Vuitton Spring-Summer Show in Paris was packed with icons Beyoncé, Jay-Z, Rihanna, LeBron James. Literally every power player in music, fashion, and culture was in the room. Cameras were everywhere. Pharrell was debuting his first collection as the new head of Louis Vuitton Men's. It was already a historic moment. Then the beat dropped. But this wasn't just any beat, it was Clipse. For the first time in over a decade, Pusha T and his brother No Malice premiered a brand new track. And the lyrics? You could feel the energy in the room shift instantly. Even Jay-Z was nodding along. That wasn't just music. That was a warning shot delivered right in the middle of the most high-profile event of the season. The bars said it all. Everyone knew who they were aimed at. That line about chasing a feature out of your element was a clear shot at Jim Jones, who had just aligned himself with Drake after being crowned an honorary Dipset member on stage in Harlem. The same Drake who got lyrically dismantled by Pusha in the story of Adidon and still hasn't fully bounced back from it. But this time, Pusha wasn't dropping a diss on SoundCloud. This was calculated. This was strategic. He used Paris Fashion Week as his battleground. That's how far ahead Pusha T is thinking. Jim, on the other hand, kept dragging Pusha on shows like The Breakfast Club, Rap Caviar, and Drink Champs, claiming Pusha's not even top 50.
Can you sing along the 5 Pusha T records right now? His records.
Yes.
His records?
Yeah.
Name
I
them.
love Pusha. Nostalgia.
Oh, you was a Pusha T fan.
If you know, you know.
I didn't know he had fans like
No.
that. Can you name 5 Pusha T records? No,
Dreaming of
his
the
records.
Past.
Pusha T, I love your soul, my dog. You're not in my top 50. You might be in Charlemagne's top 50 and things like that.
Pusha
But
top 50.
you haven't done that much for me in my life. Like, I didn't never want to be like Pusha. I never had a Pusha moment in my life. I never thought, like, you dig? Like,
Where I'm from, niggas want to be like you if you was really that dude and that rapper and things
Wayne
like that.
wanted to
It's
be like Pusha.
shit.
He was influenced by Pusha.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's why Pusha did the Mr. Me Too record.
Okay, cool. You a very strong Pusha T fan. You heard? But what else has he bring to the game? Did he make people want to dress like him? Did he have some slang that everybody was talking like him? There'll be the girls, all the girls want.
While others were busy chasing clout on podcasts, Pusha T took a different route. He brought billionaires, luxury brands, and icons to the front row of his revenge. And let's not miss the deeper meaning. Here, this wasn't just about lyrics. It was about the setting, the energy, the message. The track, produced by Pharrell, the same Pharrell who helped define Clipse's entire sound. A man rooted in both Virginia streets and the inner circles of high fashion. They debuted Chains and Whips, a track reportedly created inside Louis Vuitton's Paris headquarters, overlooking the Seine River. Pharrell even told the New York Times during an interview, pointing to the very window, "This was made in this room. We were just walking around looking out the window, and you could feel it like, we're beating the system, bro." Meanwhile, as Pusha played chess in Paris, Nas was making empire moves back in Queens. While Jim Jones was chasing vlog headlines, Nas was launching Resorts World Queens, a 350,000 square foot casino complex, backed by a $5 billion vision. This isn't just a business move. This is Nas investing in infrastructure, ownership, and generational wealth for an entire borough.
The future is not something you wait for. It's something you build. It lives in the hands of the doers, the dreamers, the people who refuse to stand still. Resorts World is more than a casino. It's energy. It's opportunity. It's hope for the borough. A second chance for some, a first step for many. It's where community gathers, not just to win, but to build a future once imagined. This isn't just business. This is legacy. And now it's time. Time to invest in us.
Meanwhile, Jim Jones is out here bragging about summer jam bookings like it's still 2008. But Nas didn't need to respond with bars, he came with receipts. And let's be honest, those receipts hit harder than any diss track could. Fans caught on instantly. The comments? Brutal. Now, while some people can't stop talking just to stay viral, Nas is moving in silence, making real boss moves. When you've got real money, real respect, and real relevance, you don't need to clap back. You let your legacy do the talking. Meanwhile, Jim Jones gets booed off the stage. Let's set the scene. Summer Jam 2024. Jim finally gets the spotlight he's been chasing all year. But the second he steps on stage, nothing but crickets.
He hit the stage, crickets.
Funkmaster flexed the same flex who had been one of Jim's biggest allies cuts his set short. And you can see it hit Jim in real time. This was supposed to be his moment. But all the energy he built around this beef? It didn't land. Because at the end of the day, Jim didn't bring the hits, he brought drama. And even after all that, he still wasn't done. He had one more diss in the tank. And this one? It got personal. After the Louis Vuitton era, Pusha didn't say much publicly. But behind the scenes, word started spreading he wasn't finished. Sources close to Clipse say their upcoming reunion album is packed with sharp, deliberate shots aimed directly at Jim. That track debuted in Paris? Just the intro. The rest of it? Way darker. Some insiders are calling it Pusha's Coke Bear moment because he's fully stepping into the villain role now. No filters. No safety nets. And if Jim keeps talking, it's going to turn into lyrical murder. But it's not just about bars, it's the strategy behind them. Pusha is aligning his return with elite-level production and aesthetics, while Jim's filming freestyles in Harlem alleyways over the same beat he just got cooked on. That's right, Jim tried to flip the Chains and Whips beat and drop his own freestyle response. He even threw in a line alluding to No Malice, hinting there's a problem between them. And that's where he crossed the line. Pusha can handle direct shots. But bringing up no malice, a man who left the rap game to pursue his faith and rebuild his life, that wasn't just a diss. That was disrespect. Pusha hasn't responded publicly yet. But if history tells us anything, he doesn't react fast, he reacts strategically. And when he does, it's lethal. Then came Jim's biggest mistake, publicly dissing Clipse's new single on camera. During an interview, he took one last swing, this time at their new track, Ace Trumpets.